Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. I have updates to share about some of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists who've already been sentenced. It's time for a special episode of Where Are They Now?
Matthew Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So a prison consultant named Dan Weiss has been working with some of the January 6th defendants, and he told Insider News outlet that most of them never expected to face serious punishment for January 6th. Weiss said, quote, "A lot of them really thought nothing was going to happen. They were like, no, this is going to get blown over. I just wanted to have a quick call with you to see what you thought." And some of those who've been sentenced to prison or who already have been convicted and are facing long prison terms are now asking for a do-over. So they were willing to die for Trump, right? 1776 and all that, right? We're willing to shed blood, but they aren't willing to do prison time. But as they say in preschool, when they pass out candy, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. So first up, I want to talk about the QAnon shaman, Jacob Chansley. Chansley pleaded guilty in September of last year to one count of obstructing an official proceeding. So he was sentenced to 41 months in prison, which I found to be actually excessive because he wasn't violent. He didn't break anything. Nevertheless, almost immediately, Chansley dumped his first attorney, who infamously referred to January 6 defendants as short bus people. And his new attorneys have petitioned the court, and they're asking to vacate his conviction. So that would mean that basically it never happened, and Chansley's guilty plea would be withdrawn. It would just be thrown out. So it would be like starting all over again. And Chansley has some pretty high-profile new attorneys. They're using a defense of ineffective legal counsel. But from everything I've read, it's a pretty high bar to clear to prove that, because his counsel would have to prove two things. First, they would have to prove that his attorney's performance fell below an, quote, objective standard of reasonableness. And then second, but for the attorney's poor performance, the result would have been different. So it's unlikely that it'll work, but you never know. So I'll keep you guys in the loop. The next sentenced January 6er that wants to do over is Guy Reffitt. Reffitt, you guys may recall, was just recently found guilty by a jury of his peers on all 5 of his charges. So he hasn't been sentenced yet, but Reffitt's attorney asked the judge to either overturn his conviction or to allow Reffitt a new trial. And the attorney argued that a different judge, Judge Carl Nichols, had dismissed a charge of obstruction against a different January 6th defendant. And so therefore, it shouldn't be allowed in Reffitt's case. However, number one, Judge Nichols is an outlier. He is the only one to say that you cannot charge obstruction. And more recently, because he's been petitioned by the Department of Justice to reconsider, he recently went on the record and said he may have made an error in that decision. He may actually reinstate that charge against the other defendant. But in addition to that argument, Reffitt's attorney also argued that the evidence against him was insufficient. Now, to her credit, and because I've been so hard on her, I will admit, the judge in this case is Dabney Friedrich, and she actually made the right call in this matter. She denied Reffitt's request, and she stated in her ruling, quote, "Reffitt makes little attempt to show that the interest of justice requires a new trial, reiterating only that the evidence is insufficient to sustain guilty verdicts, except on count 3A. In fact, the evidence amply supports his conviction on all counts." So I will give her credit where credit is due. Now, what I'm wondering is when Reffitt's wife is going to be arrested, when she's going to be charged with obstruction of justice, because following his conviction, I don't know if you guys knew this, she went on camera. They were trying to get her reaction to his sentence or to his conviction. And she said on camera that the other January 6th defendants should not take guilty pleas. They should not make plea deals. Why? I don't know. I mean, clearly going to trial went so well for her husband, right? But that's what she said. She said they should not do it. They're trying to make an example out of my husband. They should just go to trial. Trying to persuade people to not take plea deals is obstruction of justice. So lock her up, lock her up. Anyway, last but not least, former Virginia officer Thomas Robertson has also petitioned the court asking for an acquittal. Robertson's attorney is also using the insufficient evidence argument. His client was also found guilty on all counts by a jury of his peers, by the way. And in addition, Robertson is claiming that the government failed to prove that the wooden stick that he was carrying was actually a deadly or dangerous weapon. And so they've asked for a hearing on the matter. So no word yet as to when that's going to take place. But remember, this is the guy who went out and purchased over 36 weapons after January 6th. And he was talking all kinds of shit online, making comments about future violence and saying, oh, I didn't go too far enough. We need to go all the way, basically. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I will definitely keep you guys posted on all of these cases. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.